talk to you today about something that most people won't tell you. So I think a lot of times we're talking about the usual here: building muscle, getting in shape, losing fat, losing weight, all that good stuff. Well, what is that most people won't tell you? Most people, I've probably been guilty of this too, will make it sound pretty easy, right? Just change your eating habits, get on a good plan, work out consistently, lift weights, stick with it, and it'll happen. This is all true, yeah. But what they are leaving out is that it's really freaking hard, right? It's really hard, and I think what most people that are just getting started would assume is that the workouts are really hard. And that's true. You know, the workouts are hard. I think, particularly when you're not accustomed to strength training, conditioning, things like that, the workouts can be hard. But what people don't realize, what's really hard is the nutritional aspect. That's very hard. And the length of time that you have to stick with it and be consistent in order to be successful, to make it, to that break point where you start to see it, that's really hard. And also dealing with just the day-to-day challenges of everyday life and time and schedule and getting to the gym, sticking to your eating plan, all of the things just that again, adulting throws your way can make being consistent really, really difficult. So I'll give you a few examples. This is something that I personally have been doing for 25 years, right? And it's still very challenging for me to stay on course. We have 2 kids. Every single day, they're eating a pretty good quantity of something that I'm trying to stay away from. So whether I'm getting them ice cream, it seems like every day in the summer, buying them pizza at least once a week, making them grilled cheese sandwiches, watching them eat cereal, doing all this kind of stuff that I'm staying away from. That's not easy for me, and I know it's not easy for just about anybody. So I'm mentally trained to do it, but it's called delaying gratification, and I think delaying gratification is the number one component to success in just about every aspect of life, whether that's business, whether that's family, whether that's relationships, whether that's gym stuff, fitness stuff. Think about it. To be successful at business, you gotta work your ass off, right? There's a lot of days when I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I would much rather sleep till 7. But those 3 hours, I'm going to get more done than I am in the rest of the day, and I realize that that's the only time I have to do it. So that's when I'm going to do it. And I think if you talk to any successful entrepreneur, they have gone above and beyond the normal work schedules. We've talked a lot about, successful people don't watch a lot of TV, right? They delay the gratification of whatever their goal is for a later date. Okay, so yeah, it's not easy to take your kids for ice cream and not get any. It's not easy to make them pancakes and not eat them. It's not easy to get up 3 hours earlier so you can work out, get home, shower, and then get to work on time. Okay, but when it comes time to go to the beach, I mean, that's the obvious cliche one, right? I'm not even going to go there. I want to talk about how about just normal life? How about just getting up and getting dressed to go to work and being so frustrated that you try on 7 different outfits or shirts or things that you are trying to look good in, and when you realize that none of them are going to look good because you don't like the way you look, that really sucks. Okay, so delaying gratification means you get up early and delay the enjoyment of that 3 more hours of sleep so that in 6 months you don't go through that freaking 15 minutes, 30 minutes of torture before you go out because you're unhappy with the way you look. I talked to a client this week who you would never expect her to have these kind of feelings because she's a very attractive woman, and to anybody else you'd never think that she has any insecurities, but she told me that the last 3-4 months that she's been lifting weights with us, that the biggest thing she's noticed is that she's so comfortable in her own strength and in her own skin that she always felt this pressure to be the pretty one and wear the right clothes and make sure she looked beautiful and have the makeup and have her hair done, all this stuff. And now that she's feeling more confident in her physicality and her body and her just her strength. It's not that she didn't look good before. She looked good before. She looks good now. It's that she just has she carries herself differently, and she feels comfortable putting on t-shirt and jeans and putting her hair up and going out. And I think that spoke massively to me about the impact that strength can have. But again, my point being that this is somebody that's dedicating like a considerable amount of time per week to work out with weights, designating a considerable amount of time to change her eating habits, think about what she's going to eat, meal plan, meal prepare, and so forth. So, my point is it's always hard. It doesn't really become, I think you fall into a groove. You've been doing it a long time like myself and others. It becomes easier because it becomes a lifestyle and you've accepted the fact that this is the way it is. But it's always hard. It's always a challenge. It is, again, I don't like to use myself as an example a lot because I think it's a pet peeve of mine that kind of trainers assume that everybody wants to be like them and look like them. But I'm going to use myself now because, not because I think that, but because I think I want you guys to realize that someone that does this for a living still struggles and has a normal life. I have a family. I have responsibilities. It's difficult for me to find time to get workouts in. It would seem easy for me because I own a gym, but in actuality, it can sometimes be even harder because that to me is like my home. I'm distracted in there. I want to work when I'm there. I want to talk to people when I'm there. So I literally leave there and go to another gym to get my own workouts in. That takes extra time. Again, I'm an entrepreneur. I have a startup business. I oftentimes will work 12 to 14 hours a day. So it's hard for me to find time to work out. And I don't do it as often as I should sometimes, right? But it's a struggle. Eating, the same thing I mentioned, we feed our kids and they eat kid stuff. And I want to eat kid stuff, but I don't do it. Okay, I'm not saying I don't do it all the time. I don't ever do it. I sure do, probably more than I would admit. But my point is that it is hard for me. It's hard for everybody. So especially if you're just starting on this journey, do not get discouraged because it's difficult, right? Of course it's difficult. If it wasn't difficult, everybody would be doing it, right? It's the same thing for everything. I don't think there's anything good in life that's accomplished that was easy. And training yourself to delay gratification, put off things that would make you feel pleasure now to have more pleasure later. And you look at that we have people that are training for bodybuilding competition, figure competition, and marathons and so forth. Perfect example. You got to put aside 3, 4, 5 months of preparing for this one day, literally maybe 2 minutes on stage. But the potential of winning and that euphoria of winning and being up there is worth it for some people to put through 4 or 5 months of dieting and training and delaying no alcohol, no pizza, no junk food, no white rice, no white bread. I mean, like literally you wouldn't believe the extremes that people that are competing go to, all for one day. So again, not to say that that's what we're all trying to achieve, that level, but I think you get my point, is that anybody that you see that has reached high levels of success in any area of life have sacrificed a lot, have struggled a lot to get there, and had to delay the gratification of a lot of things to get to that moment. So that's it for the day. It's Sunday, so have a great week, everybody.